How come industry and media has so much control over us? I remember in the 80s when I was growing up, censorship was a big thing in media, and nobody was allowed to say things that might influence children in ways that might be provocative, um, distorted, and or cause reckless havoc on the world. Now, I'll admit, everybody wanted to see the demise of censorship because the religious orders had gotten into them and they were influencing censorship. So yeah, I agree. Censorship needed to come down because religious was a big order in censorship. But in some ways it truly controlled the aspect of what our children and people were exposed to, and today we're coming across something called Project 2025. Project 2025 deems to control people and send us back into history, back in time. Now, if we're going to be an evolutionary planet where we keep evolving, we can't keep going back, or we're going to be outgrowing every status of industry and government that actually exists on Earth. Now, how they're doing it is through influence through media. Media does not have a governing body since censorship was shut down. Censorship was shut down by huge players in massive media positions that were influencing rock and roll. Rock and roll came in and they wanted to have a say. The problem is, freedom of speech belongs to the human complement. It's a human right. What's happening, though, with censorship being taken down and industries like media having such a big influence on our lives and what we can and can't have in our lives, is because media doesn't have a governing body to ensure that it's being ethical to us. They are the funders of Heritage Foundation. They are deciding to plan to shut us down and use the fact that they can use big media money and big media influence to divide us completely, so we're constantly fighting. I don't know if you noticed, but we never find out about the truth about things. Like, where's the black boxes from the so-called attack on the Trade Center? Where's the proof that if we're having terrorist attack, they're not doing anything to catch these people and hold them against the law? How come it is media is telling us stuff about other countries that we never really find out whether it's true or not? The thing is, media is unethical, and to give them freedom of speech is giving an industry a human right. Human rights belong to humans, not industries. If a media industry wants to have human rights like freedom of speech, they cannot have an editor or a publisher or a producer producing anything and changing anything they say or think. So this actually frees up the people who are working in the media, journalists, musicians, actors, actresses, huge industries that want to make something but are told they don't have creative rights to it. It is edited, it is published and changed to the way the media wants to influence us based on government conditions they can control with influence. So we're being duped over and over and over again. They are not giving us proper ethics in industry. They are not giving us proper industrial care. We pay into it. We're the force that works it and makes all the money, and some big capitalist takes all that money and uses it against us. The thing about it is, ethics, if you want to be a journalist, you shouldn't be working for a journalist paper. You should be your own journalist, because then you have freedom of speech. You do not have freedom of speech when you're handing in your journalist position to an editor and a publisher who skews it in the way they want it to look for the world to see based on how they want the government to be controlled. We need to stop this, and we need to stop it now. Industries like media do not need to have influence of human rights. We do not need to have heritage foundations funded by large campaigns started by President Ronald Reagan, a big influence in media, to be telling us that we're going to go back in history and we've evolved so far and we're going to lose all our intelligence we've gained in order for governments to be smarter than us. This needs to end. There was nothing wrong with having censorship. The only thing that was wrong, religion being involved in it. Censorship for media is a necessary thing. They are an unethical body that is run unethically and never, ever, ever has anything overseeing it by a governance. If we don't get media governance, and something that makes them adhere to ethical properties, they only have to follow what they feel is ethical. That can be skewed in any way, just like a journalist article. A person who makes music, if they make music, a producer and editor changes it so that it influences the world the way they want it to influence the world. Someone who creates an entire play for a movie or a media, they can't have that play go out until it's been edited and published, produced. All those things change the governing body that says ethics of human rights and freedom of speech exists only in the people's word. This is my ethical freedom of speech. I'm having my say.